You could be spending money on luxury experiences that recharge and inspire you versus hoarding money and never living fully, which is literally one of my biggest pet peeves. Being frugal, being cheap, never spending money on anything because you're just trying to save. These people, man, are making the biggest mistake, and they won't realize that mistake until they're old, and they just wish they could go back in time and not only have their youth, but also the experiences and special memories they created with the money that they had at the time, and just never ever living fully. Welcome back to another episode of the Diamond Life Mentor Podcast with your host, Balazs W. Kardos. And this episode, we're going to be diving into the topic around value. Now, most people know the price of everything, but the value of nothing. In this episode, we're flipping the script on how you see money, time, and opportunities so you never let cost stop you from building the life you deserve. I find it a very interesting topic around value itself because there's different types of value. And so first I want to kind of break down the definition of value. I think the word gets thrown around a lot when somebody is on a call or a training. Often they comment so much value. And it's important for us to recognize what makes us say that. Right? Where is the value that we personally find in different things? And most importantly, what do we do with the value? How do we apply it to our life? How do we get a return on this value? So I want to introduce this concept around value, and first off, start with the definition. Value is the perceived benefit, importance, or worth of something in relation to what it costs, whether that cost is time, money, energy, or emotional investment. Now, people often focus on the cost, but not the value. But the real question should always be, is the value greater than the price I'm paying? So I want to quickly talk about a few different types of value. Now, the hardest one to really identify is intrinsic value, the value that something has in and of itself. Now, these could be examples like health, happiness, relationships, inner peace. These aren't valued because they lead to something else. They're quite literally valuable on their own. So just curious, are you prioritizing things with intrinsic value or just what's flashy or temporary? Then we have financial value, the monetary worth or financial return on an investment. Now, tangible financial value could be something like buying an appreciating asset. Intangible financial value is something along the lines of investing in personal growth that leads to greater earning potential later on. For example, investing in a $15,000 package or business opportunity that can then go on and generate you $50,000 in the first year and even more after that. There's also emotional value, the emotional fulfillment or satisfaction that something provides. Example, spending time with family, creating unforgettable experiences, or being a part of a supportive community. Now, emotional value is often overlooked in favor of tangible outcomes, but it plays a huge role in long-term happiness. There's also time value, the value of time saved or how time is invested. As an example, you can outsource work that might cost money, but it gives you back time for high impact activities or spending time with family. Now, what about the time versus money question? Is this saving me time or giving me time to focus on what truly matters? There's also health and longevity value, how something impacts your physical and mental well-being. Example, eating organic food, investing in medical grade technology for better health, or hiring a personal trainer to stay in better shape, get in shape. What's the value of feeling healthy and energetic every day versus saving a few dollars on poor quality food? There's also social and community value, the value of relationships and your social circle in enhancing your life. It could be mentorship, mastermind groups, and connecting with like-minded people who elevate your thinking. And then there's legacy value, the long-term impact of your actions, investments, or lifestyle on future generations. This could be building generational wealth, creating a business that provides freedom for your family, or leaving behind knowledge and experiences that live on after you're gone. Now, the thing that I want to really emphasize here is obviously there's a lot of different types of value. And I believe that we should always be very mindful of making sure that we're not dropping the ball on any of the values that I just mentioned, and making sure that we're invested across the board for all of them, because they're all important, right? So that brings me to the next point, is like, how do we actually evaluate value versus cost? So the value cost equation is really simple. It's value equals benefits minus cost. So you should always ask yourself, am I getting more in return long term than I'm giving up right now in the short term? So you may balk at paying $15,000 to start a business, but what's the true cost of not taking that opportunity, staying stuck, no financial freedom, or missing out on your dreams? The second part of this is quality versus quantity. Not everything that's cheaper is better. Example, a cheap supplement may feel like a good deal, but what's the cost to your health compared to a high quality organic supplement? And finally, opportunity cost. This is one of my favorite ones, and we've talked about it on previous episodes. The cost of the next best alternative that you're giving up. What's the opportunity cost of staying in a job that drains you when you could be building a business that aligns with your values in your future? Now, the most common mistakes that people make when they're assessing value is that they only look at the price and they don't look at the overall impact of that decision. Cheap isn't always a bargain, and expensive isn't always a ripoff. People often delay investing in their health or personal growth until it's too late, because they simply are ignoring the long-term value. And they also underestimate the time and the emotional value component as well. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. And then finally, the emotional value, such as the feeling and sense of peace of mind, which can outweigh financial gains in many cases. So let's talk about a few real-life examples of value assessment. In a business context, investing in high-ticket affiliate marketing versus wasting money on some get-rich-quick business scam. In a health example, you could be buying cheap workout equipment that it's on sale, that just gathers dust, versus hiring a trainer and actually transforming your body. In a lifestyle example, you could be spending money on luxury experiences that recharge and inspire you, versus hoarding money and never living fully, which is literally one of my biggest pet peeves. Being frugal, being cheap, never spending money on anything because you're just trying to save. These people, man, are making the biggest mistake, and they won't realize that mistake until they're old, and they just wish they could go back in time and not only have their youth, but also the experiences and special memories they created with the money that they had at the time, and just never ever living fully. So what are some different action steps that you can take? How to determine the value of something in your life? Well, first you need to decide what type of value you want. Is it emotional fulfillment? Is it financial growth? Is it better health? Is it more time? Or is it long-term legacy? Or possibly all of the above? List the potential benefits, short-term and long-term, and then weigh the cost, monetary, time, and emotional. Assess the opportunity cost. What are you giving up if you say no to this opportunity? And then just simply ask yourself, will this move me closer to my ideal life or just keep me where I am? So you need to basically stop focusing on the price and start focusing on the value. Because in the end, the true cost of anything is the life you could have lived if you had valued it differently. So I want to kind of go off on this now for a few minutes and really talk about how this is the most common mistake that, from my perspective and from my opinion, the majority of human beings make in their life. They simply have an incorrect assessment towards the priorities and choices that they're continuing to make. Because when you really truly understand everything we're talking about on this episode, you would come to a different conclusion, and those different conclusions would lead you to different choices and different changes, and all of a sudden you would course correct, right? Just like if you're a ship on the sea and you're going straight and you're just 1 degree off, the direction that you're supposed to go or the direction you think you're going, you will not arrive to the destination that you expect to arrive at. And that is most people's lives. They're going through the motions thinking they're on the right path, thinking they're doing the right thing. Their mom and dad told them to do this and they're doing it. Society told them to do this and they're doing it. They're actually good people. They're actually following a plan. They're being obedient. They're like, look, you told me to do this and I'm doing it. I'm following this game plan. And you're telling me that after many decades, I'm going to arrive at a place that is completely foreign to me because I thought I would end up in retirement and financially free and enjoying my time to do the things that I love and so on and so on and so on. And what actually ends up happening is a rude awakening filled with regret. And if it's going to take you till the end of your life to learn these lessons, you fucked up. I can't really say it any other way because we all have a choice. And one of the things I've really been processing recently is that we can't necessarily control the cards we're dealt, right? We don't have any hand in the family you were born, the country you were born, the financial situation you were born, and all the rest of it. But there comes a time at a certain point in your life that actually all of that responsibility is now on you. So maybe the first, let's say 20 to 25 years of your life, you can say it's not my fault. My parents this, my city that, my government this, my economy that. Sure, okay. But what about after that age? If you still haven't figured it out, if you still haven't cracked the code, if you still haven't done research and investigated and asked questions and been open-minded to learning from people who have what you want and actually be humble, and ask questions and admit that you don't know what you're doing, that you're lost, that you're off path, you're off track, it's 100% on you. And funny enough, in my life, as you know, if you've listened to my podcast and all the different episodes and you know my backstory, that was pretty much my story as well, is I had a whole bunch of things inherited, right? We think of inheritance as something that happens once your parents pass away, but that's not technically true. You're actually inheriting beliefs, socioeconomic status, you're inheriting mindset, you're inheriting so many things your whole life, your whole childhood. And so you're basically starting off with a set of rules, a set of principles, a set of perspectives that you may no longer actually choose to hold as your own once you're old enough to start making your own decisions. And it's funny because most countries, right, the legal age is 19 or possibly 21, or in some places it's 18. So when we think about that, what does that actually mean? Most people think, wow, that means I can get a credit card, or I could buy alcohol, or I could drive my own car, have my own license. No, no. What it means is that it's your license to think for yourself. It is the age that you get to choose who you want to be. It is the age that you get to choose what you want to do with your life, who you want to become, what you want to pursue, what is something that is interesting to you. Up until that age, you basically have an excuse. And anybody who's a parent with young kids, if you can set up your children to have a different mindset, a different perspective, help them think for themselves and solve problems and see the world from a new lens prior to that age, you've set them up to be way ahead of schedule, right? My daughter is 4. We're reading How to Escape the Rat Race. It's like a comic book from Robert Kiyosaki as her bedtime stories. We're literally talking about, jobs and how you get stuck being in paycheck to paycheck and it's a rat race. And we make all these funny analogies. And I used the example with her and I said, how crazy it is that these rats, run around in this cage and they're running and running and running and running and never getting anywhere. And she literally laughs. That's silly, Daddy. That doesn't make much sense. Why don't they just get off the wheel and so they can get someplace? I'm like, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. And she's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, imagine you're a baby, right? And you have a poopy diaper because she has a younger brother now. So this is all making sense for her, right? Because this is like our day-to-day life. Imagine you have a poopy diaper and you have the ability to change it. But instead of changing your poopy diaper, you're just whining and complaining and saying, it stinks and it smells and it hurts and it's uncomfortable and you're crying and wah, wah, wah. But all you got to do is just change the diaper. But you don't. That's like an adult being in a job, complaining, bitching, moaning that they're in debt, that they can't afford this, they can't do that. And they just whine and whine and whine instead of simply just changing the job, quitting the job, starting something different. You know what I'm saying? So my daughter who's 4 is already getting it. She's obviously getting it in the context of a 4-year-old, but this is the stuff that I talk to her about. And she's a very intelligent, super smart little girl. So by the time she's 18, 19, 21, she's going to have a foundation where of course she can think for herself. And of course she can disagree with me or her mother or anybody else. And that's what I want. I want her to question authority. I want her to question, how it is and think for herself. But I'm also going to do my best to set her up with certain principles that have been tested over time that will help her become who she's destined to become and just set her on the right path. So the point that I'm making is people need to know that they're in control of their life. And when they become an adult, this should be the number one priority, is actually looking into and understanding what is value and reshaping the way they see things. And I'll give you another quick example around how I see value as well, on top of everything we're talking about. How I see value is also directly connected to the frequency in which something adds that value into my life. So I'll give you an example of the things that are in your life that you use every single day. Think about the value of that. Not sometimes, not here and there, not seasonally, not once a year, daily. So when I look at my life in my reality today, in my diamond life, I have optimized every single thing that I use daily to be world-class, best in class across the board. So let's talk about it. So from a health perspective, there are certain principles that are really important to optimize our health, starting with our water, right? So I've literally invested in medical grade water technology that I've drank now for past 16 years that has helped me have a metabolic age of 29 when I'm actually 39. Do you think that's a smart investment for me that I paid for one time 16 years ago, literally drink every single day, cook, clean, etc., etc., not only myself, but my whole family, and it's gotten me a 10-year younger metabolic age? Yeah, and my body's mostly made of water. So think about the value in this. Now, when we talk about nutrition, we invest in the healthiest organic foods. We don't buy the processed junk. We read labels. We get grass-fed, pasture-raised organic meats. And all of that stuff is also the best that we can literally buy, okay? And then when we start to go down this list of what about something like my computer chair, which I sit in a decent amount. Not all day, not every day, but I sit in a lot. I have literally a Herman Miller embodied chair that's like a few $1,000s for ergonomic support. If you look in the back, it has like the similar shape of your spine. And I don't have back problems. I don't have issues from sitting. I have the best microphone, the best monitor, the best computer, the best camera, all the best gear because I get daily value from it because these are the tools of my trade. Let's talk about my toothbrush, okay? I brush my teeth at least once or twice a day, depending, or sometimes, even more than that. I have a Philips Sonicare best-in-class diamond toothbrush. It's like $300, does that. I have a mattress and a bed. I use an 8 Sleep. I have an Oura Ring. I track my stuff, all the best stuff. I have a Whoop strap on this hand, an Apple Watch this hand. So when I think about my day, the fabrics that I wear were organic cotton clothes. I go through and I go, what are the things that I wear and utilize every single day in my life? And it doesn't matter what the price is because the cost, the value is daily, 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 daily. From the cars that I drive to the homes that I live in to the trips that I go on, it's like I always look at the bang for my buck being much, much greater than the price tag. Because, for example, always get the latest iPhone, okay? Like, I pretty much get it the day it comes out. And people think that's a stupid use of money. But it's because they don't understand the reason why I do it. And it's not just to keep up with the Joneses and all that shit. I don't care about that. Here's what I actually care about. When the camera gets upgraded to be a better quality image or better quality video or better quality audio, I'm literally filming memories of my family and my children, creating content for my business, keeping tabs on my businesses with apps and processing speed and all that kind of stuff. When I look back on a picture of my daughter from years ago, every year that she grows up, I have a different iPhone that I captured those memories with. And when I look back on pictures that are like 4 years old, I don't want those to be the quality of an 8-year-old iPhone. I want them to be the quality of the latest technology at that time. Because the longer the time passes, the more precious and priceless the memories become. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So we need to look at the things that you use every single day. Are you looking for cheap, crappy stuff to save yourself $1? Or are you like realizing that having the best that you can get in those different categories of your life are the most valuable place you can actually put your money and invest? And same goes for business. When we look at a business opportunity, people don't know how to assess value. They don't understand price versus cost. They don't understand that with time and energy and so much invested into yourself, becoming the best version of yourself and like up-leveling your skills and up-leveling your mindset, this business has the ability to have no cap. And my check and my income and my sales and my organization continues to grow at scale exponentially year over year. There was no thing at the beginning of my business that said, okay, if you invest into a quad package for $15,000 or whatever, roughly around that amount, once you get to $1 million a year in commissions and bonuses, that's it. You're capped out. You should be happy with that because you put in $15,000, get it all the way up to $1 million a year. That's a great return on your investment. We're capping you there. Now, even if that was the case, it would still be an outstanding investment. 15,000 into $1 million a year, outstanding investment. But just the fact that that doesn't exist, that there is no cap, I can grow this thing to 10 million a year, 20 million a year, 50 million a year, 100 million a year. I have to figure out how to do that. I have to build the processes, the systems, the scale, etc. So there is a lot of work involved to get it to that number of sales, but it's possible and no one can stop me and no one can prevent it from happening except for myself and my organization and the effort that we put in. That to me is exciting because I know that I'm only ever going to get better. I'm only going to get wiser, more experienced. Technology is only improving. Systems, AI, etc. is only ever getting better. So my business will continue to reflect that because I understood not only the price versus cost equation, but I also understood the sweat equity, the time, the energy, the dedication, the focus, the sacrifice, and everything that went into it. I understood that the payoff was going to continue to be bigger than what I could even comprehend in the moment. It was like the benefit and the payoff is multiplied by infinity. That's what generational wealth is. There's an infinity multiplier. And it's so hard for people to see this because when they have no sales, they have no experience, they have no following on social media, they don't know how to sell, all they see is limitations, right? They don't see opportunity. They don't see possibility. But if you can shift your mindset to those things and you go, even though I don't know this and I don't have this and I'm not here yet, I know I can figure that stuff out. And then the multiplier effect will happen for me too. And the exponential factor will happen for me. And the infinity multiplier will happen for me as well. And that, my friends, is something that is so underrated and so underestimated, it blows my mind. Now, this past week, I actually have a really powerful story to share with you. 2 years ago, I saw a younger guy on social media, and he was speaking at the Affiliate Marketing Summit in Dubai. It's like the biggest affiliate marketing event of the year. And he came across my newsfeed. It might have been an ad promoting the event. I can't remember. And I saw this young guy. He looked to be like maybe 21, 22 or something in his picture. And I was just kind of like, huh. He was an expert. He was speaking on stage, had the microphone, had the slides. And I was just curious about this guy. I'm like, who is this guy and what does he do? And he's clearly an affiliate marketer or something along those lines because he's speaking at this event. So I checked him out. He had a bunch of followers, like 40,000 plus followers. He had some nice content, some lifestyle, some travel stuff. I was like, okay, this good first impression. And then he had like a call to action on one of his posts. I sent the call to action because I thought maybe he has a ManyChat, like a ebook or some kind of information that he just fires off when you do the call to action. But he didn't, and he just messaged me saying like, hey, you looking to get started in this thing? I can't remember, but he just followed up with me. And I ghosted him, right? I forgot about it. It was 2 years ago. And then on my stories on my Instagram, I posted something along the lines of like, let me put you on some game how most businesses are backwards because you only get to keep 30% of profit. You can never stop hustling, never stop making sales. The business kind of owns you. And that with the business model that I'm in, you get paid lifetime residuals. It's completely different. And he reached out to me. He says he has a community of people that he trains and teaches through how to make money online with affiliate marketing of over 9,000 students. And he wants to transition them and launch Enagic. And I just like, what? So we had a conversation. And what I found out was that he has verified revenue from ClickBank, which is a big affiliate network, where his students have made over $700 million in sales. However, guess how much he got paid of that? $0. Isn't that insane? Because he sold them a $2,500 course on how to make money leveraging products that are on ClickBank and selling them on YouTube with ads, and he sold it for $2,500. So he has made a lot of money selling his course. But after they learned the information and went and applied it and got results, he got $0 from that. And I was talking to him and I said, look, man, if you would have taught them the same concepts, but leveraging Enagic, and those people were actually a part of your Enagic organization, and you taught them and mentored them and coached them and provided tools and training and all that kind of support, on the low end, he would have made about $7 to $8 million passively for the same amount of revenue that he got $0 on. Now, this is a common problem in the world with social media, with advertisers and marketers and affiliates and coaches and content creators and all the rest of it. They have a lot of skills. They're really good at what they do, tons of experience. They're very smart people. And they're simply applying that to a flawed model that will never get them the long-term residual that they deserve, that they should receive a piece of. And this is the revolution that is happening, and we are leading this, and more entrepreneurs are going to be switching into this business model for that reason and many other reasons, because they're starting to see value that previously they were blind to. So when we talk about how to assess value and how to measure value, you could be looking at something and completely miss it because of the mindset and perspective that you have. And I hope that whether you're a part of Enagic and part of this incredible opportunity and community and company, or you're just somebody who's considering it and listening to it, that you start to assess the real true value of things in your life and don't drop the ball because you're getting discouraged by something like the price, like a sticker shock. When you understood the real value of it, it's on sale. It is incredibly undervalued from a price standpoint because the long-term payoff is multiplied by infinity. And if you would have told me 12 years ago that I would be having conversations with big, successful affiliate marketers who have thousands of people in their communities that they're just going to do a launch to, I wouldn't have even understood what you're saying. But every 145 approximately quad sales that he makes direct is $1 million cash, without overrides, without the bonuses, without the long-term residuals, just as a direct transaction. And he believes he can probably do 400 people from his launch. Multiply that by 3 or 4 products each, and he has a possibility to go from 0 to close to 682-3 from one launch. Just imagine the possibilities of that happening in your business. And the only way that that can happen for you is if you understand the value of the choices and decisions that you make in your life every single day, from what you spend your energy on, to what you watch, to what you listen, to what you read, to who you listen to, who you stop listening to, where you spend your money, where you spend your time, and actually start to process things from a completely different framework of your thoughts and your thinking. Even just your investment into the quality of the relationships that you have, the time that you spend with your kids, the time you spend with your wife. There's so many things that people think the value is X, and it's really not that. So hopefully this is an eye-opening episode for you to really measure the true price of success and how to measure the real value in your life. Thank you for sharing. Make sure you check out this episode on YouTube and leave a comment. Share it on your social media with your friends. And we'll catch you on the next one, my friends. Take care.